And just begin breathing deeper and deeper with each inhale and exhale. Letting go of the day, anything outside the four corners of your mat. And see if you can maintain a smooth rhythm, breathing in deeply, keeping the eyes closed. Exhaling deeply, emptying out completely. You can also begin to breathe by sealing your lips and breathing in and out through your nose, your Ujjayi breath. Deep, complete breath cycles in and out through the nose. Slight constriction in the back of the throat. Really connecting with your breath here. Not tensing, not forcing, just breathing. Let's do 2 cleansing breaths, inhaling through the nose all the way up to the top and then a little bit more, and releasing out of your mouth completely, maybe even making a sound. No one can hear you. One more time. And then gently allow your body to rise up to a tabletop pose. So stacking the shoulders over the wrists, the hips are over the knees. Maybe sway back and forth, get comfortable, grip the mat with the fingers. And then use your inhale breath to press into the hands, dip the belly down, roll the shoulders back, and gaze up. With your exhale breath, you'll use your core to begin drawing the navel in towards the spine and rounding the back as you press into the hands. And let the head hang. Again, inhale. Use the breath to open up and expand through your heart space, gazing up. Exhale, use the core, round in nice and slow. And we'll do 4 breath cycles like this, just inhaling and exhaling to create a smooth, even rhythm with the body and the breath. Maybe you sway your hips here. Maybe you allow the neck to go back and forth. Anything that feels good to your body, no guideline. And then eventually coming back to that center space. Sliding the right hand in the center of your mat, pressing firmly into the mat, and then inhaling to allow the left fingertips to go up towards the ceiling. Thread the needle is next, so as you exhale, let the left hand come down and under the right. Your left shoulder and left ear will come down onto the mat. And then just allow yourself to melt. Lots of options here. You can do something with your leg. You can reach the right arm around for a bind. If you can, keep your eyes closed and just keep breathing and focusing on those nice, long inhale and exhale breaths. Let's take one more deep breath where you're at. And then with your next breath cycle, slowly begin to resurface the right hand. Plant it into your mat, re-extend the left fingertips up high, and then switch the hands out. Inhaling to extend the right fingertips up towards the ceiling, exhaling to gracefully hook that right arm underneath the left. Bringing the right shoulder and the right ear to the mat. And just breathing here. If you did something different on the other side, even the body out by doing it on this side as well. One more breath. And then begin to resurface the left hand. Extending the right fingertips up high one more time. And then finding yourself back in that tabletop pose. Make sure everything is stacked before you give one more cat-cow. Inhaling to open. Exhaling to round in. Come back to center. Take the hands and place them one palm print in front of you on the mat. Curl the toes and begin to straighten the legs while you send your hips up, back, and down for your first down dog. So pedaling out the feet here, bending the knees, maybe playing with the grip of the fingers on the mat. This is your first downward facing dog of class. Go slow, close the eyes. Return to those nice long breaths. Keep a soft bend in the knees here. Keep drawing the core in, staying engaged. Keep those breaths nice and long. Just letting go of the day here. One more breath, inhaling deeper than you did for any of the other breaths. Exhaling to release it all completely. And lift your heels up high, keep the bend in your knee, and begin to slowly walk your way up to the front of your mat. Allow your feet to be behind your wrists, about hip-width distance. Bend the knees, grab opposite elbows, and let the head hang for a ragdoll pose, Uttanasana. Allow yourself to sway back and forth if it feels good. Maybe shifting the weight slightly into the balls of the feet to keep the feet engaged. Open and close the jaw. And then when you're ready, allow your palms to come down onto the mat. Heel toe the feet together. And use your inhale breath to lift up halfway, Ardha Uttanasana. So hands can be on the shins or on the mat. Straighten the spine and lift halfway. On your exhale, fold in, use the core. Forward fold, Uttanasana. Nice and heavy. On your inhale, root down in the feet and slowly, slowly begin to rise all the way up. Extending 2 arms up overhead, let the hands meet, and then bring them back to heart center, Samasthiti. So we'll do 3 rounds of Surya Namaskara A. Rooting down in the feet, closing the eyes just for a breath to recenter and align the spine. Inhale deeply. Exhale, let it go. On your next inhale, we'll begin with Tadasana, mountain pose. So reaching the fingertips high towards the ceiling, let the hands meet, straighten the spine, exhale, and begin your descent forward for forward fold. Nice and slow, using the core, allowing the upper body to hang. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana, halfway lift. And then on this exhale, you'll plant the palms about shoulder width distance and send the feet back for a plank pose. So take a few breaths here in your plank. Make sure everything is aligned. You want one straight long line of energy from heels to the crown of the head, engaging the core, slight bend in the elbows. Stay here or drop down onto the knees. If you choose to drop down onto the knees, begin to draw the elbows in and lower down halfway, Chaturanga. Use your inhale, press into the tops of the feet, roll the shoulders back, upward facing dog, gazing up, and exhale to roll over the feet or step back into your downward facing dog. And then return to your breathing here, settle in. Keep everything soft, no straining. 3 deep breaths. Open the eyes if they're closed. Lift the heels, bend the knees, and either walk, step, or jump to the front of your mat. When you get there, inhale deeply, halfway lift. Exhale, fold in. Use your inhale breath to really rise up, rooted down in your mat. Send the arms up overhead. Exhale, bring the hands to heart center, Samastitihi. 2 more times, let's flow. Inhale, arms reach, get long. Exhale, fold forward. Use your inhale, really straighten the spine here. Exhale, plant the palms and lower down into your plank. Chaturanga, if you did so on the other side. Inhale for upward facing dog, pressing into the palms. And then exhale, come back to your downward facing dog. Close the eyes if you can. 3 deep breaths. Inhale as far as you can go. Exhale, release any way you like. Open the eyes if they're closed. Lift the heels, bend the knees. Make your way to the top of the mat. Inhale, nice and big. Halfway lift. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, and slowly make your way up, mountain pose. Exhale, hands to heart center. 1 more time, really linking the breath to the movement. Inhale and reach. Exhale and fold. Inhale and exhale, lower down. Inhale, upward facing dog, and exhale, back to your downward facing. And just breathing here, feeling the difference in your body already, but remembering to take it slow. Let's take 1 extra cleansing breath, inhaling deeply through the nose, nice and big, and releasing out of the mouth. Once you've finished with that, you can begin to make your way to the top of the mat. And inhale for a halfway lift when you get there. Exhale, fold forward. And then inhale to rise all the way up to your mountain pose, bringing the arms up overhead. This time, interlacing all 10 fingers but the pointer fingers for a steeple mudra. So it's going to look like this. Not sure if you can see it. Inhaling to extend and reach through the fingertips as you ground down with the feet, and then exhaling to come up and over towards the right-hand side, which I guess would be your left. So just continue reaching here, grounding down through the feet, pressing the biceps in towards the ears, squaring the hips and the shoulders. 1 more deep breath. Stay for the exhale. Inhale, reach a little further. Exhale and stay with it. And then inhale to come all the way through center. Once you're at that center space, realign the spine, re-extend the fingertips, and then come up and over towards the other side. Continue squeezing the palms together, bringing the biceps closer towards the ears, and really grounding down through the feet. 1 more deep breath. Stay for the exhale. Inhale, big. Exhale, stay. And then inhale, slowly come back up to center. You can keep the arms up overhead, options to cactus at your sides, or place them on the low back as if you're putting your hands in your jean pockets. Squeeze the elbows in, ground down through the feet, and then begin to inhale as you lift your heart space up towards the ceiling and slowly allow your gaze to go towards the back wall if you're looking up. Continue breathing here for 2 solid breaths. And then use your next inhale to slowly rise up. Come to center space, realign the spine, take the hands, place them on the hips, and on your next exhale with slightly bent knees, lower down all the way, Uttanasana. Hands come down onto the mat, about shoulder width distance, and heel toe the feet out so that the feet are behind the wrists. Generous bend in the knee here. Inhale, halfway lift, gazing forward. Exhale, use the core and fold in. Padangustasana, so taking the peace fingers, hooking them around the big toes. Shift the weight slightly forward. We'll take one more inhale for a halfway lift, straightening the spine, gazing forward. And on your exhale, really grip the toes with the feet as you allow your upper body to fold in as close as it can to the lower body. Elbows can come out to the side or hug in. And just continue breathing here, using the grip to bring you closer and closer towards your shins, using the breath. Slowly begin to release the grip. Hands back down on the mat. Heel toe the feet together. Inhale for a halfway lift, straightening the spine. Exhale, use the core, roll in, fold in. And on your next inhale, we're going to rise up into Utkatasana chair pose. So keeping the feet together, or you can separate them hip width. Begin to bend the knees as you rise up, extending the arms up overhead. So slightly tuck the pelvic floor here, peek over the knees, make sure you can see the toes. Most of the weight is in your heels, drawing shoulders away from the ears, using the core, and just breathing into this pose. Really nice. I can see a few of you. One more deep breath. Inhale, stay with the exhale. And then inhale, allow your legs to straighten, arms up overhead. Keep the arms up overhead or bring them parallel to your mat like so. And use your next inhale to lift the heels up. So you're nice and long and straight here. Option to stay here, or on your exhale breath, begin to bend the knees and sit back into your chair. Once again, looking for that straight back, keeping one point of focus and breathing into this pose. One more breath. Slowly rise up before you allow the heels to drop. And then we'll move into our last pose of chair, pigeon-toeing the feet, so toes in, heels out, squeezing the thighs and the knees together, keeping the arms overhead or parallel, straight back, inhale big, exhale, and begin to bend the knees. Heels will naturally lift. Keep the back straight, go as low as you feel comfortable. Just keep breathing, keep looking at one thing that's not moving, and keep maintaining that flat back. One more breath. Inhale breath, exhale breath. And slowly rise. All the way up. Release the heels. Shake out the hands. Very nice. And then bring both feet together. Ground them into your mat. Inhale, both arms up overhead. We're moving into Garudasana Eagle. So the right arm will come underneath the left. Grab opposite shoulders. You can Bring the back of the hands to touch or the palms. Sit back into your chair as low as you can go. Shift the weight into the left foot and then bring that right leg up and over. Squeeze everything in towards the midline here. Keep the core engaged. Keep the legs active. Option to begin to nest your eagle if you'd like to do so, hollowing out the belly, coming up and over the right leg. If not, just focus on keeping one straight line through the midline, squeezing everything in and breathing. Nesters can slowly begin to rise, and then everyone can slowly begin to release. Moving on to the other side, inhaling the arms to reach high. This time the left arm comes underneath the right. Go where you went on the other side. Sit back low into your chair. Shift the weight into the right foot and then bring that left leg up and over. Keep squeezing. Keep using the core to stay engaged. Nice, long, deep breaths. Nesting if you did on the other side. Nesters can slowly begin to rise, coming back to center, and then everyone releasing the leg and the arms. Very nice. Inhaling, mountain pose, arms reach high up towards the sky. Exhaling, forward fold, slowly coming down. Inhale to a halfway lift. And then exhale to plant your palms and step back as you flow. Finding your way into a downward facing dog when you're ready. So once you're in that down dog place, close the eyes, take a deep breath. Come back to the awareness of your space, of your breath. And then allow the eyes to open. Use your inhale breath and lift your right leg up towards the sky, maybe pointing the toes. As you exhale, bend the right knee, curl the knee in towards the chest, and then allow the right foot to drop in between the palms. Swivel the back foot 45 degrees, grip with both feet as you inhale and rise up to Warrior One. Extending the arms up overhead. Fingers can be wide. Drawing shoulders away from the ears, gripping with the outer edge of the back foot, really finding strength in this pose. 2 deep breaths, inhaling and exhaling, inhaling and exhaling. On your next inhale, slowly make your way towards center, rearrange your feet slightly, and then set up for Warrior Two. You guys will have to look at my back for this one until I figure out a better way. So Warrior Two, you're drawing that right bent knee towards the right hand side, extending the arms long, fingertips shooting towards both sides, stacking shoulders over hips. Keep the bend in the knee. Send the fingertips forward, and then tick-tock the arms, setting up for hot triangle. So right forearm down on the right thigh, extending the left fingertips high, or any other variation, maybe grabbing the right ankle, grabbing the right shin. Just keep pressing the right knee open, keep a stack of the shoulders, and breathe. Keep the legs where they're at, nice and strong. On your next inhale, simply reverse the stretch. Extending the right fingertips high and back, little to no weight in the left hand. Maybe taking your gaze over towards your hand, towards your fingers, before you use your next breath to windmill the arms forward, reframing the right foot, and stepping back to flow. Meeting back in a downward facing dog. Taking a few generous breaths here. Check in with your body. See if you're holding tension anywhere. Maybe open and close the jaw. And then when you're ready, coming back, inhaling and extending the left leg up towards the ceiling. Exhaling, bending the left knee, curling the left knee in, and then planting that left foot down as you swivel the right foot 45 degrees and rise. Arms up overhead. Strong warrior one, keeping the shoulders away from the ears. Breathing deeply. Use your next inhale to open up to your warrior two pose. So here you can probably see a little bit better. You might have to create more distance between the feet, keeping that bend in the left knee nice and deep, really reaching with the fingertips, gazing over the middle finger. On your next inhale, fingertips forward, tick-tock the arms, go where you went on the other side. Make sure the feet are firmly rooted into the mat, all edges, active and working, and really reaching with the right fingertips this time. Use your next inhale to reverse, extending left fingertips towards the back. Allowing the legs, the thighs to be strong and active. And on your next inhale, slowly windmilling both arms forward to reframe the left foot and lowering back to flow. Finding ourselves in a downward facing dog. Checking in. Maybe you're starting to sweat a little bit. I know I am. And we'll take our next inhale breath to do this again. So inhaling, reaching with the right leg. Exhaling, curling the right knee, sending it through for warrior one. And really using the breath to allow us to rise up. Once we're here at our warrior one, we'll take one breath, inhale and exhale before we open up warrior two. Nice warrior two, reaching, becoming long, and using your next inhale to straighten the front leg, the right leg straightens. You might want to make a smaller space between your feet, setting up for Utthita Trikonasana. So nice and long here with the arms, send the hips back, fingertips forward, and then tick-tock, just like we did in hot triangle, reaching for the foot, the shin, extending and reaching with the left fingertips. And really trying to tuck that right hip up and under. On your next inhale, keep the legs nice and strong, just reverse the stretch. Extending and reaching, finding new length in that side body with each breath, allowing yourself to let go. On your next inhale, rise up, keep the feet nice and wide, setting up for Prasarita Padottanasana, so wide-legged forward fold. So the feet will be parallel to the short sides of the mat. Nice and wide stance. Take the hands to the hips, or you can interlace all 10 fingers behind the back. Grip down with the feet. Inhale, lift the heart, lift the sternum up towards the sky. Maybe allow the neck to draw back slightly. And then exhale and begin to fold over, keeping a nice flat back. All the way down. Take the hands, place them on the mat or keep them interlaced. Keep a nice generous bend in the knee if it feels uncomfortable. You can stay here working on getting closer and closer towards the ground, or some inversion that you'd like to practice safely at home. I'll be guiding you through a twist, taking the right hand, placing it underneath your face, either on the mat or not, and then inhaling to reach with the left fingertips towards the ceiling. Keep pressing down with the right hand as you extend and reach with the left fingertips here. Keep the breath nice and smooth. And on your next exhale, simply bring the left hand down and switch out the hands, reaching with the right fingertips nice and high, pressing down with the left hand, creating so much space in your collarbone area. And then allow the right hand to come back down onto the mat. Let's take a halfway lift wherever you are. So both hands planted on the mat. Inhale, straighten the spine, gaze forward. Exhale, allow yourself to hang just for a breath. Maybe shake the head side to side before we make our way back up, either hands on the hips or behind the back as you inhale and slowly begin to rise all the way up. Take all 10 toes and point them towards the right, setting up for pyramid pose. So shortening the distance between the feet to about 3 feet, 2.5 feet, 3 feet, squaring the hips, maybe taking the hands to the hips, making sure they're nice and square. And when you feel nice and stable, hands can be up overhead at heart center space or behind your back. Get nice and long, and then use your exhale to slowly begin to fold in towards the left leg. Hands can come down onto the mat, or you can challenge yourself. Keep them at your heart center. Keep drawing the right hip forward and the left hip back here, but be careful not to hyperextend the left knee. So keep a nice sort of generous, tiny micro bend as you breathe in and out, and allow the weight of your head to naturally draw closer towards your left knee or shin. One more breath, inhale and exhale. And then inhale and slowly rise up. Either hands up overhead or at heart center space. Come all the way up, reset the spine. Ground down with the left foot and begin to bend the left knee as you start to fly that right leg back, setting up for warrior one. So you want a nice long line of energy here from the heel to the crown of the head. Keep the right foot flexed, keep breathing, keep one point of focus. And when you're ready, begin to release into your standing split. So framing the left foot with both hands, allow the right leg to go high up towards the ceiling. You can keep a slight bend or a generous bend in the left knee. Just keep reaching with the right toes as you square the hips. Now, if this feels uncomfortable, you can bend the right knee. Sometimes it feels uncomfortable, and just sort of play around. Take one more deep breath. And then allow the right foot to meet the left at the top of your mat. Inhale for a halfway lift. Exhale and fold. And then inhale all the way up to standing, re-extending the arms. Bring them back to heart center, Samastitihi. And we'll inhale the arms to reach. Exhale and fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant the palms and flow, or just step back into your downward facing dog as we prepare for the other side, the left side. So find that stillness, find that breath again, nice and deep. Inhales and exhales. Check in with the body, check in with the mind. And then use your next inhale to lift the left leg nice and high. Point the toes. Curl that left knee in. Plant the left foot. And rise up with the breath. Warrior one. Really using the grip of the outer edge of that right foot to stabilize. On your next exhale, open it up. Warrior two. Nice and long with the arms, nice bend in the left knee. And on your next inhale, straightening the left leg, maybe repositioning the feet, shortening the distance before you send the hips back, left fingertips forward, tick-tock the arms, triangle. Keeping the shoulders square here. Keep reaching with the right fingertips, maybe coming up a little bit higher to create more space, heart opening pose. On your next inhale, keep the legs nice and strong, reverse, extend the left fingertips towards the back. One more inhale breath, outhale breath, is that a word? On your next inhale, rise up. Now we're going to go into our goddess or horse pose. So toes out, heels in. Keep the distance between the feet here. We'll bend the knees, take the hands and place them on the thighs. And just sort of settle in, get comfortable and get stable. Peek over the knees, make sure that the toes are tracking with the knees. Make sure you feel comfortable here before we begin to dip the shoulders back and forth. So just going back and forth from side to side. Allowing yourself to loosen up, maybe swaying back and forth, lowering down, finding a comfortable crouch. And then when you're ready, bringing the hands to heart center space. We're going to challenge ourselves to close the eyes and remain stable and still here for 5 breaths. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Open the eyes, keep the bend in the knees, keep the lowness, and we'll do 3 cleansing lion's breaths. So inhaling through the nose, exhaling out of the mouth. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, let it go. 2 more times. Inhale, reach big. Exhale. Once more, inhale. Exhale. Bring the hands back down on the thighs. Inhale, straighten the legs, and send the toes towards, I don't know what, wherever you are. Send the toes towards the left. Shorten the distance between the feet and set up for pyramid pose on the other side. So shorten the distance between the feet. Take the hands, square those hips. Get nice and strong in your stance. Bring the arms up overhead or heart center. Inhale, grow long through the crown of the head before you exhale and fold forward. Bringing the hands down on the mat. Keep sending the left hip forward and the right hip back. Slight bend in the right knee. Use the core. Grow longer and longer. One more breath. See if you can draw the forehead a little bit closer towards the right shin without even trying before you inhale and slowly begin to rise up all the way. Resetting the spine, getting nice and long, shifting the weight into the right foot, bending the right knee, and then beginning to fly that left leg back, keeping the left foot flexed. Only going where you feel comfortable, where you feel stable. And when you're ready, releasing the hands to frame the right foot for your standing splits, extending the toes high if you can, keeping the hips square, maybe bending the right knee. And then allow the left foot to come down to meet the right. Inhale for a halfway lift. Exhale and fold. And then inhale to rise all the way up to standing. Bringing the hands to heart center. Setting up for standing balancing. So now's a good time to drink some water. Take a break. Check the time. And then finding your space on the front of your mat, your feet together, maybe bringing the hands to heart center, closing the eyes and just taking one deep breath with eyes closed before you get ready and set yourself up for standing balancing. So taking the hands, place them at your sides, keep the palms open. And then shift the weight into the left foot as you begin to float the right knee up. Keep the knee bent, the foot flexed. You can stay here, work on balance, or you can interlace all 10 fingers around the right shin, draw it up and in towards your body, and then leave the right hand gripping as you extend the left hand towards the side and open up that gate with that right knee. Drawing towards the right hand side, keeping the right foot flexed for counterbalance. Breathing here. Growing nice and stable. And on your next breath, begin to draw that right knee back in towards the midline. Dancing Shiva is next. So the left hand on the outside of the right thigh as the right hand reaches towards the back wall, in my case. You're twisting at the waistline here. Trying to keep the hips square. On your next inhale, bring both arms up overhead. Straighten the right leg and hold it for 3, 2, and 1 before you release it down to the side to meet the other foot. Other side, shifting the weight into the right foot. Hands out next to your side, your hip points. Floating the left leg up. Keeping that knee bent, that foot flexed. Interlace all 10 fingers, squeeze the left leg up in towards the torso, keep the grip with the left hand, extend the right fingertips towards the right and open up that leg towards the left. Option to gaze over the right hand if you want a balance challenge. If not, use the next breath. Bring everything in towards the midline. Take the right hand, place it on the outside of the left thigh, and twist with the waistline as you open up the left hand towards the back wall. Come back to center slowly. Extend both arms up overhead. Straighten the left leg and hold it for 3, 2, and 1 before you release it down to meet the right foot. Standing bow is next, so inhaling your arms up towards the ceiling, releasing the right arm down to your side, and then bend the right knee, reach with the right hand to grab the outside of the right foot, squeezing everything in here. So the thighs are squeezing together, square the hips, square the shoulders, extend with the left fingertips on the inhale, and then exhale, begin to kick the right foot into the right hand. One point of focus as you reach with the left fingertips. Slowly begin to come out. Coming back to center before you release the right foot and the left hand, and then inhaling to reach both arms up again, moving right into the other side. Allow the left arm, the left hand to drop, bend the left knee, reach for the outside of the left foot. Squeeze everything in, square shoulders, square the hips, reach with the right fingertips, and on your exhale, begin to kick the left foot into the left hand, fingertips reaching. Slowly coming back up all the way before you allow the left foot to come down and meet the right. Very nice. Tree pose is next. So grounding down with both feet before you begin to shift the weight into the left foot. Hands can be at heart center. Kickstand the right foot out, draw it in towards the ankle, the shin, or the inner thigh. Get stable with the left leg. Really working on stability and strength here. Get nice and long through the crown of the head, and then begin to grow your branches up towards the ceiling if you feel nice and stable. Keeping the spine long and straight. If your arms are up overhead, slowly begin to lower them back down to heart center space, bringing them together. And then begin to close the right knee in, and then release the right foot down to meet the left. Other side, so shifting the weight into the right foot this time, going wherever you went on the other side, bringing it in towards the ankle, the shin, or the inner thigh. Really squeezing the palms together to get nice and stable and strong. And then when you're ready, allowing the arms to float up overhead, finding any expression that you like. And coming back slowly, bringing the hands back to heart center. Allowing the left leg to come to the midline, and then releasing the left foot. Allow the hands to come to your sides, shake them out, and prepare yourself for Malasana at the front of the mat. So toes out, heels in, mat width distance. I'm going to demo this facing you. So you're going to bend the knees, bring both hands together at your heart space. Use the elbows here to open up the knees. Wide-legged squat here. Toes out, heels in. Get nice and stable here. And then I'll guide you through a twist. So taking the right hand, placing it on the outside of the right toes, using the right elbow to open up that right knee even further before you extend the left fingertips towards the ceiling. So if this feels uncomfortable in any way, you can sit on a block, which I might. So extending and reaching. And then when you're ready, switching it out. Left fingertips outside of the left foot. Reaching with the right fingertips towards the ceiling. And then slowly bringing the right hand back in. Bring the hands back to heart center. Get stable, and then allow yourself to sit back on your butt. Setting up for Navasana, boat pose. So grounding down through the sit bones, making sure you're nice and stable with your glutes. Take both hands, place them behind you, fingertips pointing away from you. Kickstand the feet. Stay here, or a couple of options. You can reach the arms out to the sides. You can keep the knees bent, feet flexed or not. Or you can straighten and extend both legs up. Lots of options. So we're just going to hold this here for 5 breaths, keeping the back nice and long and straight, working on shoulders away from the ears, maybe closing the eyes and breathing in for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Open the eyes if they're closed and slowly lower all the way down onto your back. Doing some yogi bicycles, basketing the hands behind the head, gripping the neck, elbows wide. Bring bent knees up. A couple of options here. You can straighten the legs completely, keep the knees bent, and then allow yourself to begin tapping the left elbow onto the right knee, right elbow onto the left, back and forth. We'll do this for 20. 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Coming all the way down onto our back. And then we'll basket the hands behind the head one more time. Take the right foot, place it over the left thigh like a figure 4. We'll take the left elbow and pulse for 3, 2, and 1 towards the right knee. And then lower all the way back down. We'll do this for 5. So 5, 1, 2, 3, down. 5, 2, 2, 3, down. 3, 2, 2, 3, down. 2, 3, 2, 3, down. 1, 3, 2, 1, down. Thank you. My counting was a little off there. I don't know what was going on. We'll switch it up. Other side. So taking the left foot, placing it over the right thigh this time. We'll do 5, pulsing 3 times. So 5, 1, 2, 3, down. 4, 1, 2, 3, down. 3, 1, 2, 3, down. 2, 1, 2, 3, down. 1, 1, 2, 3, down. And crossing here at the ankles, crossing both legs, we'll do 3 rock and roll sit-ups to make our way to the front of the mat for a plank pose. Just allowing the spine to be playful here 3 times, and then coming into our plank pose. So making sure we're nice and aligned here, that our heels are drawing towards the back, that our glutes aren't sticking up, our core is engaged, maybe a slight bend in the elbows, holding it here for 3, 2, and 1, and then lowering all the way down onto our belly, resting one ear onto the mat, hands at the sides, and just allow yourself to be here just for a breath. And then grounding down with the fronts of the feet firmly into your mat. Feet can be hip-width distance or zipped up together. Bring your chin to the front of the mat. And then allow your hands to come to the outside of your shoulders. Gripping the elbows in like 2 little cricket wings, hugging them in towards the body. We're going to set up here for Cobra, Bhujangasana. So squeezing everything together, using the inhale breath to lift the upper body, keeping the neck nice and long, squeezing the elbows in, and breathing. On your next exhale, allow yourself to release completely back down onto the mat, opposite ear. Take a breath for yourself here. And then again, ground down with the front of the feet, either hip width or together. Bring the chin to the front of the mat. And Shalabhasana is next. So the hands can be palms down at your sides or interlaced behind the low back, squeezing palms together. Chin is at the front of the mat. On your inhale, you'll slowly begin to lift the upper body up. If this feels good, keeping the neck nice and long, you can begin to lift the legs up off the mat. And just keep breathing here, keeping a gaze at the front of your mat, looking down the bridge of your nose. One more breath, in breath, out breath. And then lower all the way down, opposite ear. Comes down onto the mat. Floor bow is next. So bending the knees, bringing the chin to the front of the mat. Option here, take the arms, cactus them at your sides. Inhale and lift everything up. Or you can take the hands and place them on the feet. And you can inhale and begin kicking the feet into the hands, looking for that teardrop shape with your body here. Keeping the neck long again. You're still gazing at the front of the mat for a few breaths. And releasing everything when you're ready. Maybe keeping the knees bent, windshield wiper back and forth. back and forth, and then coming back into child's pose when you're ready. Bringing the forehead to the mat, reconnecting with the stillness. And then slowly begin to rise up out of your child's pose, walking your way up towards the front of the mat, setting up for hero's pose. So bringing the knees together, sitting back on the heels. If this feels uncomfortable, you can take a block, sit on the block. Or you can separate the heels if this feels good. You can actually sit in between the heels. So sit bones are firmly on the mat, heels are squeezing and pressing next to them. A couple of options here. You can take the hands, place them behind you. Inhale, lift the heart space, lift the gaze. Walk down onto your elbows and stay here. Again, lifting your heart, maybe allowing your head to fall back slightly. Or you can lower all the way down onto your mat and reach the arms up overhead for a really intense stretch. Again, keep breathing here. Keep the throat nice and open, maybe open and close the jaw. Make sure you're not tensing up. And when you're ready, you can slowly begin to walk your way out of whatever variation you're in, coming all the way up. And finding your tabletop pose, curling the toes, and then taking the right leg behind you, and then allowing yourself to sway back and forth on those right toes. Switching the legs out. And then come back to tabletop. Make sure the knees are about hip-width distance here. Take the hands, place them on the hips, and gently rise up. Ustrasana Camel is next. So taking the hands, placing them behind the low back, fingertips pointing down. Again, like you're trying to slide your hands into jean pockets. Squeezing the elbows in towards each other, allowing your chest to open up towards the sky. Inhale nice and big, and then allow the gaze to slowly go up towards the ceiling. Option to begin to walk the hands down the thighs, maybe reaching for the heels or the feet, whatever feels comfortable to you. Just keep breathing here, keep squeezing the elbows in. And use your next inhale, slowly rise up. Sit back on your heels. Allow your hands to rest on your thighs and maybe roll your neck from one side to the other. Nice big circles. Coming back to center, taking the hands, placing them in front of you. Hips back and down, downward facing dog. Almost there. Find that downward facing dog just for a breath, and then inhale the right leg up towards the sky. This time, bend the right knee and find a stack with your hips here. So keep the shoulders square, but keep the hips in one line. A couple of options here. You can do a wild thing if it's in your practice. If not, we're going to move into pigeon pose. So setting ourselves up by re-squaring the hips and then drawing the right knee in towards the chest and then placing right knee outside of right wrist, scooting that left leg back. Number 7 shape with the body here. So keeping the right foot flexed, stay lifted. Allow both hips to sink into the mat. Tenth of fingers, inhale, lift the heart. Exhale, and begin to fold over any amount. Really trying to find a comfortable place here, no tension. If you can, close the eyes, come back to the breath. And then slowly allow yourself to crawl out of that pose. Sitting back on the right hip. Send the left leg long behind you. Flex the left foot. Bring the right sole of the foot into the inner left thigh. Janu Shirshasana is next. So grounding down with the sit bones, inhaling, lengthening through the fingertips, exhaling, using the core to fold up and over and reach for the left foot. If you can grab onto it, great. Hook your arms around it and use each breath to find length through the crown of the head. As you exhale, allow yourself to melt further and further towards the left shin. On your next inhale, slowly begin to rise up. Take the right hand, place it behind your low back, ground it down into the mat, and then come up on the right knee as you extend and reach with the left hand, finding a little modified gate pose here, stretching out the whole side body, and then sitting back down onto the right hip, placing both hands on the mat and finding your downward facing dog. Again. Closing the eyes if you can. Finding the breath nice and long and smooth, inhaling and lifting the left leg this time up towards the ceiling. Bend the left knee, stack the hips, keep the shoulders square, flex the foot. Wild thing if you did it on the other side. If not, just take a breath to really feel this opening before you square the hips and bring that left knee in and through. Outside of the left wrist, walk the right leg back. Find that 7 shape, tent the fingers, lengthen through the crown of the head, and then fold down any amount. Close the eyes and breathe. Really try to get both hips down on your mat as you melt. As you inhale, slowly begin to rise up out of this pose. Sit back on the left hip. Bring the right leg around. Flex the right foot. Sole of the left foot comes into the inner right thigh. Square those sit bones. Lengthen through the crown of the head. Reach with the fingertips. And use your exhale and your core to really fold over the right leg and get long. One more breath. On your next inhale, rise up slowly. Take the left hand, place it right behind the low back, come up on the left knee and reach with the right fingertips, nice and long. And then sit back on the left hip as you swing the right leg up and over Ardha Matsyendrasana. So bringing that right foot, right leg over the left bent knee. If this feels uncomfortable, go ahead and straighten the left leg. The time is 1 o'clock, so if you have somewhere to be and you want to dial out, please do so. Thanks for being here. If not, I'll walk you through the remaining poses of this set sequence. So once you're in this pose, square both sit bones nice and firmly onto your mat. Reach both arms up overhead, extending through the fingers. Place the right hand behind the low back, and then hook the right knee with the left elbow. As you inhale, you grow long through the crown of the head. As you exhale, you gaze towards the back wall, wherever you're at. Come back to center slowly. Bring the left hand behind you. Switch out the legs. If you want to do a nice and fancy fan kick, you can. Just bringing the left foot down on the other side of the right knee, squaring the sit bones. Reaching with both hands, taking the left hand behind you this time, the right elbow hooks the left knee. Inhale, grow long, exhale, and twist. And gently allow yourself to come back to unwind. Placing both hands behind you and allowing both legs to come out long for Paschimottanasana. So nice, long, and straight. Both feet are flexed here. Find that stability, ground down through the sit bones. Reach with the arms, keeping the back nice and long. And use your exhale to slowly begin to fold over the legs, reaching for the feet if possible. Keep drawing the core in. Keep lengthening through the crown of the head. Keep the breaths nice and long. As you inhale, slowly begin to rise up, all the way up. Take the hands, place them behind you, bend the knees. We'll do a quick reverse tabletop. So allowing the knees to be bent, allowing the hands to firmly grip into the mat. You'll use the inhale to press the hips up towards the ceiling and create a tabletop pose in reverse. So the head can hang back here. Just allow yourself to be here for one breath. And then slowly lower all the way back down. When your butt hits the mat, allow your back to roll down onto the mat completely. Keeping the knees bent. Setting up for bridge pose here. So walking the heels in as close as you can to the glutes. Keeping the feet hip width distance. If you need to use a block, please feel free to do so, placing it underneath the sacrum. If not, I'll guide you into this here. Hands on the outside of the feet, the hips, the glutes. Inhale, lift the hips up towards the sky. Use the hands to press into the mat and allow the hips to go further up towards the ceiling. You can also interlace all 10 fingers and breathe and press. One more breath. Lowering all the way down onto your back. Squeeze the knees in towards the chest. Give yourself a big hug. Squeeze nice and tight. And happy baby pose is next. So keeping knees bent, reaching for the outside of the feet. Knees are outside of the torso. Neck is on the ground. Tailbone is on the ground. Sway back and forth here. Allow yourself to be playful. And when you're ready, release the left leg long. Keep the grip on that right foot. Just for a breath, squeeze it as close as you can to your mat. And then let it go as you interlace all 10 fingers around the right shin, wind removing pose. So squeezing the leg in and then out towards your shoulder. Both feet are flexed here. Both legs are active. And release and let it all go as you take the left hand, place it on the outside of the right thigh and guide that leg over for a spinal twist. Right arm can come out towards the side. Gaze over the fingertips. Allow yourself to melt. Close the eyes. Come back to center slowly. Or stay twisting. Give yourself again a big hug. Reset the spine. Squeeze in. And then open up into happy baby pose once again. Reaching for the outsides of the feet, keeping the tailbone grounded. And then releasing the right leg long. Keep the grip on the left just for a breath. Squeeze and press that left leg open. And then interlace all 10 fingers around the left shin. Squeeze it in. And then around towards the shoulder. And when you're ready, use the right hand, guide that left leg up and over and twist. Placing the left hand out towards the side if you like it. Nice long breaths here as your body begins to cool down all the way. Bring both knees back to center when you can. Again, squeeze everything in. Feel each vertebrae of your spine. And then allow your hands to rest at your sides as you extend both legs long, waterfall pose. Feet are flexed. Keeping the feet flexed, keep the thighs engaged, keep the hips and the ankles in one line. Keep breathing. And then slowly begin to lower both legs onto the mat. Fish pose, last active pose of class. Keeping the legs long, point the toes. Create a diamond shape or simply support the low back by placing the hands underneath it, resting on the glutes. Begin to tuck the shoulders and the elbows in behind you. Inhale, lift the heart up towards the sky. Exhale, allow the head to fall back. 2 cleansing lion's breaths here. Inhaling through the nose, exhaling out the mouth. Once more. And then completely allowing yourself to rest in your corpse pose, Shavasana. Hands out to the sides, take up space, close the eyes, and relax. And you can remain resting here, or you can begin to slowly come up out of your Shavasana, reawakening the body after a brief rest. And finding yourself in Sukhasana, easy seat. Bring the hands to the heart, center space, close the eyes. Thumbs can come to your third eye. Bow down to your inner teacher, your inner voice. Thank you for being here. First live stream class. You guys were the guinea pigs. It was great. I appreciate each and every one of you for being here, allowing me to guide you, allowing me to teach you, and teaching me in return. It's a pleasure and an honor. The light in me honors the light in you. Namaste.